Tonight on the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean, Hayden from the Dive In Moviecast is with us for our annual Oscars powwow. Get ready for all of the fun right after this.
Change the game just now. I have a rave.
These are the best ideas I've ever heard.
I'm saying that's the commentary that will exist.
A Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Defiled Mickey Mouse.
Oh my god!
Welcome to the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean. I am Joe, he is Sean, and we are joined for the first time by Hayden of the Dive In Moviecast. Hayden, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm happy to finally be here on the show. I'm like listening to every episode on my way to work, so it's nice to actually get on here and talk to you guys, and for the Oscars of all things.
Yes. Hey, big week ahead of us. Sean has been anxious about it for 3 months now, but this is his time to shine, right, Sean?
This is my moment of peace now. I have been anxious about this for a while. I have submitted the picks. They are done already. Some of them are definitely going to be wrong. Thanks, ASC. This is going to be like, it's already done, but I'm at my moment of peace. This is it. My moment of zen.
When you sent the... Go ahead, Aiden.
You had your predictions finalized, and then Coda won last night. It was like, damn it. Okay, all over again. Here we go.
Yeah, Sean sent over his awards watch column last night at Sean, 6 or 7. And I was like, ooh, that's a little early.
I just needed it done. And it's just like, I don't want to look at anything else. I don't want to look at any stuff. Just no, it's happening. That's it.
Yeah, it's like accepting the grade on your homework and just putting it down. It's like, all right, we're done. We're good. Whatever it is, it's fine.
So, guys, we have a lot to cover. Obviously, we're going to go through most of the Oscars categories, and we do want to touch on a little bit of news, but we also want to touch on what we've been watching. So I'm going to kick this off and bring up, first of all, Halo. I usually don't talk about series, but I had the opportunity to watch the first episode. I haven't gotten to the second one yet that they released as part of the screeners. I'm a Halo player. I love Xbox. Halo is like my jam. I still to this day will play it. My rotation is like Fortnite, NHL, and Halo. I just like being like beat up by 13-year-olds who are much better at video games than me. So I play them often. The Halo series, I loved the first episode. I know people are giving it some shit and saying that it was derivative of other sci-fi projects and it's different than the series or from the video games, but that's kind of what they told us. I mean, all the interviews recently said, like, we looked at the concept of Halo, we looked at the stories and everything, and we specifically did not follow the games. Like, they're telling sort of its own story that I think will ultimately tie into what we see in the games and stuff, but without getting into a lot of it, because we were asked not to, the action's great. The sound effects are really spectacular. If you have played the game and you know the sounds, they nailed every one of the sounds from like the helmet powering up, or the suit, I should say, to like the noises that the weapons make. And I had a lot of fun with it. I said in my tweet that it's action-packed and it's a sci-fi political drama. That really, in the first episode is just trying to like set the foundation. And now we'll see where it goes, but I'm totally in on it. I was very nervous about it, but had a great time watching that. And as soon as we're done here, I'm going to watch the second episode because I'm pumped about it. But Hayden, are you a Halo fan, or you have any interest in this series?
I am a Halo fan. I haven't played any of the recent games. I kind of fell off with it. I'm more of a PlayStation user myself. But I used to have an Xbox, so I played it when I was younger. I played Halo Reach and Halo 3, and I like those ones a lot. And so I have a lot of fond memories of those ones. To the people who are complaining about this new version of the show being different than the games, it's like, what do you want from it? Do you want it to just recreate it? Because I get with the Uncharted thing that people were upset about how different it was. But with something like Halo, I would hope it's different. The games are such a specific thing. I hope that they just use that lore to tell the wrong story.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And I'm going to, as a little preview of my rant later, I'm going to be talking about exactly that point. But Sean, you are not a video gamer. And outside of the trailer, I don't think you're familiar with Halo at all. But yeah, you seemed like you were interested in checking it out.
It looked cool. I mean, with my issues, like, I don't want to knock this. I mean, I'm not a video game guy at all. I mean, at this point, the only thing that right now is enticing me to get a Paramount Plus subscription is The Mayor of Kingstown and 1883, starring King of Tolerance Sam Elliott. And I'm like, I don't really know if I really want to, like, I don't know if like that's gonna be like, you know, my main draw to do it. Like so that's my main issue is I have right now 45 different streamers. I pay $70 billion in fees. For streamers, so I need to start cutting down instead of adding to it. But if I can convince Sam that it's like, hey, Paramount Plus, and I don't think Halo is going to be the main convincer on that one.
You don't think iCarly season 2 is not the seller?
It could, like, it could be, like, you know, I don't think so. Maybe.
It's funny.
Yeah, Paramount Plus, I don't even think we have that here. I'm not positive, but I haven't heard much about it, so I don't have that one either.
It might be like CBS All Access or something.
Those are like so connected. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's an incestuous relationship with that one, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. I will say it has the feel of sort of the Star Wars series in a way. I don't know that it's quite the quality of that. I can't judge that off of one episode, but I'm excited to see where it goes because it feels like it has that the opportunity to become like a Mandalorian-esque type story focused on Pablo Schreiber's lead character, Master Chief. So I'm excited. Excuse me. My gosh. I'm excited for it, and we'll see where it goes. Let's jump into something we all watched.
Should we jump into the deep water? Let's
jump into the deep water of deep water.
Time to go swimming.
Yeah. Oh, this is an adventure. I wanted to like this movie. There's a story there that I could have liked. But it is incredibly boring in the first hour. I don't understand how they have that many extravagant parties. Who's watching these damn kids? But then it kind of just like goes off the wall, I should say, and ends with like just a really silly bike/car chase scene. Sean, you gave this an F.
Well, I mean, I gave it an F, but I'm already looking at next year's Oscars, and Tracy Letts trying to text while drive. Will be my best supporting actor, as the amount of times he said his line reading of "I got you, you fucker," and then fucking autocorrect is like true brilliance. And like, you know, this guy is a profound stage actor, and he's just like, he looked at this script and he's like, well, Carrie Coon, you know, buying a house that's the size of the Gilded Age, so I have to really, like, you know, make sure like to appease her tastes. But I looked at this and everyone said this at the end, or excuse me, not everyone. A few people I talked to, like my friend said, like, yeah, that twist was kind of ridiculous, though. I saw it coming. I didn't know there was a twist. And that is how much I saw it coming, is I just saw like this straight line to an ending where I was just like, oh no, there's no twist. This is just what this was. It was teleplayed from the beginning. And I mean, so there's no way this can be spoiled, or it just like fascinates me. It's like, oh no, she was in on it too, or something like that. And I'm like, well, I guess that's there. I guess that's not there. I didn't know what anyone was communicating, what any character was communicating. And that was where this like sort of failed. It's like, you got to give me some communication, much like that couple apparently didn't have a communication on if it was okay to bone Nate Jacobs from Euphoria or not. I don't know.
Hayden, your thoughts on this wonderful entry to the 2022 film series?
I think it shoots pretty quickly to the bottom of my year ranking so far, which is a bummer because I like Ben Affleck a lot. I'm a huge fan of his work. Ana de Armas is great in most things. So I was rooting for this, and I was really hoping that it would be good, but it's kind of just a mess. It's trying so hard to be multiple things at once while failing at being everything. It's completely incapable of keeping up with the movie it's trying to set itself up to be. And in regards to what you said, Sean, about people being shocked by the twist, I felt the same way. I think the movie kind of revealed that this is what was headed in the first 5 minutes. So I felt no thrill from the thriller, which is the worst thing a thriller can do, is completely bore you, and that's kind of how I felt with this one.
The log line was, this is meant to be the resurgence of the erotic thriller, and it wasn't erotic and wasn't a thriller.
When I texted you, oh my God, your response was erotic thriller, baby.
I was like, nope.
They showed one of the Armis's boobs once. Like, yes, you see, it's so erotic. You know, I don't think that I ever was like, yeah, this is doing it for me. You know, I'm just constantly like, all right, skip.
Yeah, it is special, and you have Ben Affleck the entire movie dead behind the eyes,
And his boobs a lot of the time,
I wonder when I meant to look at this. I wonder when this was filmed, because part of me feels like I know it was sitting on the shelf for a while, and I wonder if it was back like towards the time where Ben Affleck was really going through it personally, because it just really seemed like he was not there in this performance at all. I don't know.
Well, he was going for something, like his character was supposed to be this performance, but in that you have to still communicate with the audience. So like in some way, like he wanted to do a dead behind the eye. He was going for what we got. Like he was like, congrats, Ben, but like still that makes an uninteresting blob like that, or a snail that just doesn't work.
Well, he was like dead behind the eyes for a character that was dead behind the eyes. Do you know what I mean? Like, he like inception of Dead Behind the Eyes, where he didn't bring anything to it, in my opinion. Like, it was just so unbelievable.
I felt he was just doing a more boring version of the Gone Girl thing, where he just kind of recycled that performance and it stripped it of anything that made it interesting or entertaining to watch, and just kind of just floated his way through the movie with no emotion. And I don't think Ana de Armas was particularly bad, but I definitely didn't feel that charm from her she usually has on screen, and maybe that's because her the character likability is very low.
Yes.
But I don't know. I just don't think much of this movie did it for me. You know, I just was let down by it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Hayden, I just sent you a message. You're cutting in and out a little bit, so I'm wondering if maybe you can just reboot your not the computer but the browser and come back in. And we will be here ready for you. But we're going to keep chatting about Deepwater a little bit more.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, the Ana de Armas thing, it's a really good point, because I was wondering, like, was this a good performance or was it not? And like, she had two things to do. One, like, play a philandering party animal, and two, you're a bad mother.
It was just unlikability. Like Hayden was saying, it was just this, like, you know, just like, oh yeah. And I think she plays it well. She plays the unlikable card well. It's just that there's nothing likable about this. So I just can't even like come close to enjoying myself. And so, you know, I mean, then right off the bat, like I just think about her in No Time to Die. Granted, she's in like 3 minutes of it, but it's kind of wonderful where it's like, oh, she's amazing within those 2 seconds. So, you know, you can win her over or lose you in those different ways, but that's, you know, the unfortunate aspects of that.
Yeah, it all around was just, a little bit of a mess there. Sean, why don't you talk about Master?
Yeah, this was a weird one. I am gonna really look forward to your take on this. This is this was released on Amazon. It was released at Sundance. It stars Regina Hall as the one celebrity here. Did you get a chance to see this at Sundance?
I did see this at Sundance.
Okay, yeah. Okay, maybe we'll talk about this later because I don't want to spoil things on the weirdest twist I'll ever see in my entire lifetime. But that's like almost where I want to say that this twist is just beyond strange and, in my opinion, problematic. I don't know if my opinion can go there or not, but it just felt very off and wrong and kind of takes the rug out from what the rest of this is. Regina Hall plays the first black master or a black house master of a college. And the structure of this is kind of cool, where she's kind of facing like the horrors of racism and, you know, deeper horrors because it's a social horror. And then there's a young student facing them within a dorm. And there's an interesting like back and forth there with those two and seeing how those two work. And I liked that part. And then it decided to go for the messaging, which just felt flawed. It just fell flawed for me. Yeah, it was such a shame. It had a cool idea going, really good. But
I just had to remind myself of my review of it. I gave this a 2 out of 5. And one of my issues with it was, like, I thought Regina Hall was good. I thought Zoe Renee was good, but the script wasn't doing them any favors. It was a very hefty script or lofty script in terms of what it wanted to do. but it was shallow in its execution and never quite got to the messaging that I think they were trying to get to, whether, with the obvious biases and the microaggressions and all of that. And then the twist, so to speak, without getting into all that, like just didn't seem realized to me, and was a little bit half-assed. And I remember I was very excited for it, and I was like, oh, higher education, racial issues, Regina Hall, let's go, like all about this. And when it finished, I was just like, okay, I don't know about this one.
It was unbelievable when I just heard this was coming out this weekend, and it was on Pop Culture Happy Hour, and there were two black woman film critics that came on and just eviscerated this without me knowing much about it. Eviscerated it. I was like, well, that's the good company. I want to highlight the director, Mariama Diallo. I think that she did a great job directing. I agree her writing was not great, but she had some really solid direction with the thriller. It was a little bit, she just kind of didn't care about the fact that the window panes were red. She went full blown artsy, which I was like, you know what? Cool. You do you. Just make it weird. I said
that she gave herself too much to juggle here. She went for it in all those areas, but again, it was such a lofty ask there.
Yeah, just in the thriller, the atmosphere of the thriller standpoint, I liked the direction. Yeah, the writing was just a good old fashioned no.
Hayden, are you back with us?
Uh-oh.
That doesn't sound good. Hayden, are you there?
I'm back. Did we lose Joe?
Ooh, very broken up and delayed.
Same choppiness, yeah. Shoot.
Thank God for a post edit, right?
There we go. Yeah, we'll get that straightened out. What else?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Hayden, what browser are you using? Yeah, he's not even hearing us.
Did you say there, Joe? I think I'm back. I think I can hear you guys.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. You guys are
awesome.
Clear.
Yeah, so you're not coming through clear. You're coming through pretty choppy.
Yes.
What browser are you using?
Chrome.
Oh, okay. That should work.
Yeah. Not sure what to do.
Is it a Wi-Fi thing, an internet thing?
I can try to
check the speed.
Really quickly. Yeah, check my speed. Said we were good to go.
Speed check was good.
I can switch to a different browser and see if that fixes the issue here.
Yeah, let's try that out, and we'll keep chatting a little bit.
Okay.
But take your time on whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm just okay. There you go. I was going to remove them from it, but yeah. So one of the other things with Master that I do want to bring up is, we're in this time where a lot of films and filmmakers are seeking to tackle racial biases and racial issues in new and creative ways, and really evoke, reactions to the topic through brand new storytelling and different storytelling, and that doesn't always work. And I think that this is an example of that, where it could have probably worked had it not, again, bitten off so much and had it been fully developed. But it's unfortunate there, especially with Regina Hall.
I'm just very excited that this does exist still. Not that because I want a bad movie like this to exist or anything, but I really want a lot of these to exist where we're putting this kind of racism in art. I mean, the final scene, which is sort of the older people, getting up and around white older people. And then you see the pictures and everything. That was this very beautiful, haunting scene. Yeah. That was worth it. I was like, I want more of that in this movie. That was a cool thing. And instead we got something a little bit weirder, and it was just okay, I get it. It's fine, but it's just I think I wrote my review. I'm going to probably put it out tomorrow, but one of the things is I like that there's going to be more of this social horror. And social horror is now the quotes and stuff that we're doing. Peele brought this in, even though technically it was Twilight Zone before this, but I love the idea that this is starting to come in there. Dope is coming out soon, but there's been a lot of them. There was this one, I believe it was called Bad Hair, which I thought was not good. And I want there to be this differentiation between them. There was, I believe it was on Amazon. There was Them, which I also had a lot of issues with. And so to examine each one of these, does like have this like fascinating like ability to it, and I just want to keep on doing that even when it like challenges you in some way.
So, in terms of an intelligent movie, let me pivot here to one that I forgot to bring up earlier. Cheaper by the Dozen has had its third remake, and it hit Disney Plus last Friday. I was not looking forward to this. I've said this multiple times. Something happened to me while I was watching this where I actually really enjoyed myself. It's funny because I think that it's tough with certain films when you recognize the target audience they're going for. And a lot of times I think we look for, if you're going to discuss race, discuss it in depth and really like tell us something new and, all of that. Similar to the conversation we were just having, like make sure that you're able to flesh it out. Cheaper by the Dozen definitely doesn't flesh it out, but it discusses topics that I think are going to be accessible for young individuals, probably on Disney Plus, probably watching with families, watching Cheaper by the Dozen. And I think it's definitely has that, or it has that name recognition, especially from the 2003 Steve Martin film. But it's also a film from back in the 50s. So there's just a lot going on there. It is a very simple film in a lot of ways. The children in it are absolutely hilarious. Like I laughed out loud multiple times. Very dumb joke. Like one of them says, this isn't a halfway house, and the other kid goes, yeah, it's a full house or something like that, or it's a whole house. And it was just so quick and quippy that I lost it and thought it was hilarious. Zach Braff is goofy as hell. Gabrielle Union is delightful as hell, and it just worked for me. I was actually very impressed with it, and I in terms of a Disney Plus family accessible show, I think they did a really good job with it. It's not going to live up to the Steve Martin one. It's not that type of movie that we all are used to, or that we grew up with, but it definitely, I think, accomplishes what it set out to accomplish. Could it have gone deeper? Could it have done more? Yeah, of course. But it ends with this, this look at a blended family that is focused on the fact that like family's all you got in this case, and they have to stand up for one another. And it really, I don't know, it hit the right tones probably that evening that I was watching it.
I could see you loving this movie. That wouldn't be terribly a surprise for you. Just like it would just, if it hits that heart the right way, I know Joe's loving it.
Look, is it a great movie? Absolutely not. It's not a fantastic movie. Is it Home Sweet Home Alone? Absolutely not. Like there's actually intent and heart and love in this. Whereas we weren't getting that in Home Sweet Home Alone. So this is was this a necessary movie? I go back to this all the time. Was it a necessary movie? Maybe not. Probably not. But I think that it's not bad. I think it works. All right. So we are hanging on for Hayden.
So should I start talking about Windfall, and then he'll hopefully be on to finish us up?
Yeah, hit Windfall.
All right, so Windfall was the Netflix movie that like Jesse Plemons was in, and Jason Segel and Lily Collins, which just got released this weekend. Like, I was going through and I was like, "Are you friggin' kidding me? What is this?" You could argue that it was dumped just because like it just kind of came out of nowhere. I think it's a better movie than a movie that gets dumped. It's a strange movie, no doubt, and it's strange in its execution. It's basically Jason Segel takes hostage of a billionaire couple, and like that, it just sort of hijinks ensue from there. But from the like strange score and the very odd filmmaking that is, it seems like it wants to be this classical film from a fairly modern lens. It gets a little bit preachy about the working class versus the millionaires, but never brings anything home. Then the final scene is just like, you can't even call it a twist, but the final scene is just, like, okay, this is what just happened at the very end of this. And so I'm sort of left with my mouth agape, but that was my experience with Windfall.
Third act problem, Sean?
I mean, like, we can't even call it the third act. It's like the, the 2 5/7 act. Like,
what is your rating for it?
Ooh, that's the tough part. For my score, I haven't done my score for that one. I haven't written my review. I only do the scores after the review. I'd say it would have to be a C or a B, most likely.
Or a B, interesting.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think it's obviously not an F because there's some cool stuff in there. I don't think it's low enough to be a D. So it's either a B, a C, or a D. Maybe an F. There's a possibility it could be an A. One of those 5.
Yeah, one of the 5 rankings I usually use. Hayden, welcome back. We are talking Windfall. Were you able to watch? You did watch Windfall.
I did, yeah, and I'm glad that I'm hopefully sounding normal now. I had some internet troubles, but I think we're good.
Still a little choppy, but keep on. Maybe we'll overpower it.
Yes.
Okay, correct. I liked Windfall quite a bit, actually. I thought, from what I thought about you saying about it at the ending there, it was definitely a messy film, and one that I don't feel fully comes together. But it's like I had no expectations going into it, and so I just fired it up with my family and on the weekend, and I thought it was surprisingly entertaining and kept me engaged, despite the fact that I had no clue what was happening. I had no clue where it was headed. I had no clue what was happening, and I was like, all right, Jason Segel. He was doing the Jason Segel thing, but I felt like it was nice seeing him in a different role. And so I was engaged with this movie, despite the fact that I think if I did have to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 2.5 or a 3 out of 5. Like I didn't think it was particularly good, but I was engaged with it, and I thought it had a nice cast, so it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I think
what's worth a number of people crap on it.
I mean, honestly, like it's tricky because like I think it's like the Plemons could draw people in because I mean the guy's nominated for an Oscar right now. He's a huge star and he is the best part. Like where his character like is the he's the Bezos like Zuckerberg billionaire type who like this is just so annoying. They keep on saying, "Oh, I invented the algorithm that and they just keep on saying those same exact words. Where I'm like, you'd call it something else. You'd call it I have the Flubaroo or whatever. But instead they keep on doing that. But he's like this like easy to please guy, and he just slowly descends into like just like the asshole that he like always is anyway. And you see that on there, which is pretty like great, like to watch.
I don't know. This is going to be a very unpopular comment. I don't know if I am sold on Jesse Plemons. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I think he has some good roles, but I always see different. Like I always see the same Jesse Plemons, if that makes sense. I can't see him in different roles without seeing Jesse Plemons. I don't know.
This might be a little bit of the different one than you usually. You'll start with the regular Jesse Plemons. You'll start with like Jesse Plemons, whatever, and then there is something where he's. I mean, also I think in this one he's like dialing up to a 10, which can be actually a little bit annoying, but like and a little bit weird disarming to see from him at times. But it's something a little bit different. But I mean, for the people that are shitting on Windfall, I kind of do sort of get it. It's a very strange movie. Like it's just very strange.
It's one of those movies where I feel so stumped talking about it because it's like, did I like it? Is there anything that I really have to say about it? I don't know. But I will say I do like the way you see Clemens kind of dialing it up throughout the movie. He starts off with this very mild manner, kind of almost even boring, and then as the movie goes on towards the end, he's just losing his shit, and it's kind of entertaining to see. But I do agree with you guys, with Sean. I don't really know how to talk about this movie. I don't really know if I would recommend it or say I liked it, but I will say I was entertained enough to make it through, and I never was like, I think I'm going to turn it off. So it's I know that's a recommendation, but take that for what it is.
Hayden, listen, you're still breaking up a little bit, and we obviously want to talk to you about Oscars and stuff. So I was just texting with Sean on the side a little bit to 2 against 1, that type of thing. No, I'm kidding. But we want to figure out what's going on the side and be able to bring you back and have this Oscar conversation at some point later in the week. If you're good with that, we can find a time that works for all 3 of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, but technical
we feel
issues
terrible when that's the
derail
technical
us.
issues. Yeah.
No worries. It's totally fine. I'll see if I can figure out this in the next little bit, so if we have still time. But yeah, technical issues are always the worst.
Yeah,
I can't figure out the problem right now.
And what we'll do is I'll set up a time to like test with you too, And then we'll obviously figure out a time that works for all of us. So we'll just release the Oscars piece later in the week. But Sean and I will just kind of wrap up with the little bits of news that we were going to talk today and just call it a day.
Okay, yeah, my bad. I mean, I know I didn't do anything wrong, but this is
It's not
this is
you. Don't
always
worry.
the worst, you know?
It happens. It happens to all of us.
Some Wi-Fi
Yeah.
thing, probably. Like it's always some dumb internet Wi-Fi thing.
Yeah, I know.
Russia.
Goddamn Russia.
That's not funny to talk about. That
It's
anyway.
fine. We're taking it. We're taking it. Keep it
Like,
hate him.
serious real problems,
Cheers.
and we're like, Russia's trying to run our podcast.
Yeah, Russia's fucking with our pod. All right, Hayden, we'll talk to you and we'll reconnect and figure out where we're going.
Awesome. All right, have a good rest of your night, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, bud.
Have a good one, Aiden.
See ya.
Always sucks when there's technical issues like that, and I want to hear what he has to say about all this stuff, and I was hoping it would get better.
It was what probably the worst part is I could hear what he had to say, but it was just choppy enough that it's just so difficult to process it. And so he was saying good stuff. So we'll definitely have him on again. Well, no, we will be having him on again, sometime later
we'll
this
have him on
week. Yeah.
We shall figure that out. All right, let's move on a little bit. I'll mention X real quick because that was the other one I had on the list, but I won't dive too much into it, and so Hayden and I can talk about it. X is a really good movie. The end of it. It's a new horror movie. It is Ty West kind of taking what's worked, reminiscent of Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and kind of bringing a new twist to it, new story. It's very boring at parts. I struggled with that. I've talked to a lot of people when I saw it with some of the other critics. They didn't feel the same way. So I think I was a little bit, on the outskirts there. I was kind of bored with it until it really got going. And then I was in. So it's a lot of fun. It is one that I do want to see again because there's a lot going on and it tries to say a lot. But I really could see this kind of taking off into a new franchise.
Nice.
So yeah, it's fun. I'm surprised you didn't see it yet.
Dude, trust me, I'm so stressed and so pissed off. I had so much going on this weekend, and there were so many movies I wanted to see that I have this insane list right now. Outfit, X. I mean, thankfully I got all the Netflix ones because I was able to squeeze them in around it. But I think Outfit and X are the big ones. So I think X just jumped to the top of my list. Wait, what would you think? Yeah,
I would put the Outfit first for you.
Oh, really? Oh,
absolutely.
Damn. Okay,
absolutely.
Cool. So I'll do Outfit because everyone's talking about X, but I'll put Outfit first. It also depends on timing and I obviously, as you can see here, I need a haircut desperately. So tomorrow's haircut day, and so whatever timing goes well. So if X goes well, that wins. But a movie is being watched tomorrow. I don't care what the hell it is. It's one of those two, though.
I just heard Sam in the back go, "No, it's not." The Outfit is a strong contender for one of the best movies of the year so far. So I really think you need to watch it.
Okay, good.
And it's such a crazy movie because I mentioned this last week, but I had no idea what The Outfit was when I first was offered the screening of it.
It stayed way below the radar. Yeah, it stayed way below the radar.
Yeah. All right, so we're not going to dive into too much more. I have some quick hit news. Just give me your reactions to these, Sean.
Yeah, I'm going to hear them out. These were. I only saw them for a moment.
Okay, here's the first one: the Godzilla vs. Kong sequel starting to film this year in Australia.
Let's pick a title.
Godzilla
vs. Kong
loves Kong.
Rate, review, subscribe. Tyree's podcast.
Godzilla and Kong versus Godzilla and Kong. Smash the subscribe button,
dude. And Brian Tyree Henry's the main character.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. That's it. If it's not that, we riot.
Scream 6 has been scheduled for March of 2023.
Movie shouldn't exist. Fifth one was perfect cap on everything.
You have to. I don't know if you follow Ghostface or the Scream account on TikTok, but it's really entertaining. He's
look at that.
His most recent video was I've scheduled a date to be back with you next year or something like that. It's so funny. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. But why do you think that the Scream 5 was a perfect cap on it?
I mean, to be completely surface level, the ending shot of Scream 1 and the ending shot of Scream 5 are the same. The monologue from the reporter is like not the same, but very close to the same. I think the older characters are like filling their void of their narrative and helping the younger characters fill their void of their narrative. If they write something clever for 6 that like, you know, can open it up again, then that sounds okay to me. I'm not gonna boycott this movie. Like if they can do it properly, I'm game. I really, it's kind of like, you know, hey, I didn't like Toy Story 4, but we'll get to that. I didn't hate Toy Story 4, but Toy Story 3 really did put a cap. It's not that I have an issue with another film being made. Movies with numbers are going to be made for the rest of our lives. That's how this works. However, I do think that, you know, like when you do a perfect full circle there, like Toy Story 3 did, or like Scream 5 did, I like that those are my 2 examples. Like that, I just think that then you're going outside the circle, you're doing something a little extra. It bums me out.
See, I feel like the ending of Scream 5 was intentional that way, in that it could have been the final one, or it could have led to the new series with the new kids. And I think that's what they wanted to see how it did, and obviously it did really well. Here's the TikTok sound.
Don't forget to set your alarm. I'm coming back to theaters March 31st. Don't forget to set your alarm.
Did you hear it?
Yes, this terrifies me.
He's
Oh my god! Is it the official account?
Yeah, it's so funny how they're doing it. Like,
oh my god, that's actually pretty good. But that, like, I use TikTok when I'm in bed and stuff, and I'm like, that's gonna scare the crap out of me.
International Women's Day. He said something like, "Happy International Women's Day to my favorite ladies," or something like that.
I mean, that can
awesome.
go.
Next story is that I very much apologize. I was trying to look for a pronunciation of this name, but Amy Wang or Amy Wong, I believe it's Amy Wang, is set to write Crazy Rich Asians 2. So there's finally a writer attached to that 4 years after the first one, and people are excited for it.
I'm very happy this is happening, but it's sort of nuts that this movie wasn't like kind of on the way to being made immediately after.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Crazy Rich Asians, because that thing blew up like crazy. It was spectacular. I guess there were some like development hell issues. I don't think it was like, you know, just kind of being lazy. I think there were some problems with creative differences, which is weird. It's a book. Like, adapt the book.
They had issues with the writers too, and compensation, and there's something like with the original writers. I kind of skimmed over that, so I think that kind of set it in that direction. But
it's hard to make movies. God.
Apparently not. Scream's like, yeah, we're ready, let's go. You're in 2 months. After all the Disney crap that is still going on, by the way, and the comment section on TikTok is very friendly to the whole issue with me. Lightyear, Pixar's upcoming Lightyear movie this summer, has restored a same-sex kiss. I am hopeful that
it's
this
going to be background characters.
I don't think it's going to be background, though. I mean, if they're making it a big deal like this...
They made the other ones big deals.
Well, but this is Pixar, number one.
Okay, that's true.
Number two, as I said that, I'm like, are they making it a big deal, or is this just scoop that Deadline and the Hollywood Reporter had, and they're making it a big deal?
The company's making it a big deal without a doubt. This is a PR guy going to Deadline, like, without a doubt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but Pixar's like, fuck you guys. Like, Disney, hey, we want you to really put this back in, and we're going to make a big deal about it. And Pixar's like, fuck off.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, because all of the articles did say they're putting it back in.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You told me originally you were skeptical about this, and I'm with you there. I'm hopeful that this is a good
thing. It might be cool. I mean, then you find like then this makes news, and then this like people get upset about the Buzz Lightyear movie, and that's where I start to get mad. It's like I don't want that either, but I don't know.
Well, just give them Fast and Furious 10 like they're getting with Danielle Melchior. I always pronounce this name weirdly. I think it's Melchior or Melchior. But she played Ratcatcher 2 in Suicide Squad, and she has joined Fast and Furious 10.
Cool. I mean, these are movies where in the last one, Helen Mirren was in 2 minutes of it, where Vin Diesel gets into a car and she's like, "Hit the e-brake, darling." Just goes.
Oh my god!
So sure, just do whatever you want.
I still have not seen these movies.
I don't know what to do anymore. I really don't. I honest to God just grade them like their movies. The last one I gave a C because I won't lie. There is some stuff on there that does work.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like to be, I do not like when people are like, well, you just got to embrace the stupidity. It's like, I don't like that, but I kind of did it on these. So I think I'm just a giant hypocrite.
I like embracing the stupidity of films.
I don't like to do that. I'm not a fan of doing that, but apparently now I'm starting to do it. But, only for some movies, not for Deepwater.
Only for some movies. Let's jump into our rants and raves real quick.
Yes.
And I figure we can tackle these, and I'm making Hayden do his on whenever we meet again because it's the Channing Tatum Renaissance, and I'm very excited about that.
That's a great one, by the way.
It's a really good one. Here's mine. This is a little bit of a rant, and we tipped it off earlier when we were discussing Halo, and Hayden mentioned this. There's this battle going on with projects that are inspired by IP and then replications of projects or IP. So, for instance, Uncharted is a perfect example where they were like, "Oh, well, the character isn't the right age, and the story went a little different, and that's not how he really is, and whatever." Halo is getting a lot of shit right now. And this is without getting into any like story or whatever, but the storyline of the games is not followed. So if you're looking for like Halo 1, the video game, to be replicated in 9 episodes on Paramount Plus, you're not getting that. It's a different story, kind of like a prequel type thing. And it is it's very I don't even want to say it's an interpretation because it's not. Like, it's the things people want to see are there. And like, as someone that has played the games, if you asked me like what the storyline was, or like what I don't fucking know. I don't remember. But I think that's really cool. And I think this goes back to conversations I had with my dad. And this is gonna go a really weird direction. But one of my favorite shows is Smallville. Okay, Smallville was an interpretation of the story of Clark Kent's high school years in Smallville. It took a lot of weird turns. In season 3, there's an issue with vampires at a sorority house. Like, things got weird, okay? Things got really weird. But that's okay. My dad's response all the time when I would like bring up an episode or something, it would be like, well, that's not the story of Superman. That's not what happened. Right. Like, this is a different medium. It's a different story they're telling, but the same core values and like keystrokes are there. And I think that's what we need to start allowing to happen a little bit more in order to not get boxed into the same old stories that we've heard time and time again. And I think Halo is an example of one that's doing that. It's figuring out what works, because as we've seen time and time again, video game translations or video game adaptations don't always jump from the game to the screen easily or well. So, if you need to tweak things here or there, I think that's good, as long as there's still that core, value or core heart of the IP, which I believe this has, which I even believe Uncharted had. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And I think they did a good job with that. So it's frustrating to hear that battle back and forth and people just being hypercritical. Like, if I see, for instance, if they ever do a live action Into the Spider-Verse, which they're not going to do, but if they did like a live action Into the Spider-Verse and they just adapted what happened in the animated film and did a live action, I don't want that.
Yeah, it would be a lot of CGI.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of CGI and stuff, but I also don't want that. I've seen that movie, right? Yeah. Give me something different. And I think that's what we're getting here. So it gets frustrating, but I'm on board.
If you adapt a book into a movie and you adapt it exactly like the movie, which actually is done a lot, the movie sucks. The movie sucks a lot. Like, you have to take stuff out. Now, this is like, I'm thinking about like stuff like, coveted books like Harry Potter and stuff where, yeah, a lot of the stuff is similar, but they'll take out scenes, they'll put in other scenes, they'll put like different scenes together. And like, the one thing I could think of, by the way, is it was when I never read the books, by the way, so I don't know this officially, but it's when in the 7th one, when Voldemort and Harry are kind of like apparating together and they're sort of like fighting around together.
Oh, they did that just for the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's things like that where like that's an amazing moment in a movie, and like a director knows that and a screenwriter knows that, because books are different than movies. So you have to adapt them. Now, that is what I'm talking about, books here. Video games, I mean, holy crap. If you are playing a video game that is just like a movie, you get Doom. You literally get Doom, where they're going on every hotel floor and they're just shooting monsters, and then it ends. I don't know, like that is that's the roughest adaptation, where it's just like, oh yeah, let's just pretty much do the same thing. You can't do that. So like adapting anything, you're like into anything, you're gonna change stuff. You need to change stuff, otherwise there's no point. Just watch the same one.
It's funny that you bring up Harry Potter. So number one, there was a lot of subplots that were removed from those movies that were in the books. Like there's one whole, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget what the name of it is, but it's, so they had to do like their regular, like their tests. Like I think they were called the newts. They had to do their tests that were like the SATs essentially, or like their advanced tests. So that's a whole subplot. There's also another one where, I almost said Ginny. Hermione is like advocating for the rights of the house elves that work for the school. Like I forget what that whole storyline's called, but it's like essentially she wanted to unionize, which is kind of funny coming from J.K. Rowling. But so yeah, it's funny with that. But the other reason it's really funny you brought that up is because back to TikTok, there's a TikTok where this guy's joking around about how when you listen to the audiobook of Goblet of Fire, Dumbledore's like, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? And in the movie, he's like, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
It's the ultimate. You don't even have to look at the audiobook. It's there. It says like, this is the ultimate meme where it says like, on the book, it's like, Dumbledore says calmly, Harry, did you put your name in the? It just shows the clip.
Good adaptation for the movie, but it worked. I mean, but it wouldn't. You know what's funny? It wouldn't have worked with Richard Harris as Dumbledore.
Well, because he would have died while doing it. The energy he would have exerted.
But like,
I adore Richard Harris, but that guy couldn't have made it to 7.
It was a very different Dumbledore.
He was an amazing one for that, but
yeah. Oh God. All right, go for it. I know where you're going with this.
Oh, this is rough, man. This was a bad one when I heard this. And like I need to do more research on like how this could have happened, because I'm trying to figure out how this could have happened. I couldn't get like any of the articles there. So if you know more about how this happened, let me know. But Rachel Ziegler right now is not invited to the Oscars. She is the lead of one of the best pictures, West Side Story. She's Maria. If you're the lead of one of the movies that is nominated for Best Picture, you're going to the Oscars. If you're the lead of a movie that isn't nominated for Best Picture, you're still going to the Oscars. Like there is a lot of people that go to the Oscars, and there's also a lot less because of the 8 categories. But in this situation, for Rachel Ziegler in a nominated film for Best Actor to be like there. Now, so this is where I tried to figure out whose fault is this? And this is where I tried to go to figure out whose fault. Is it the Oscars? I'd love to blame them. I'd love to blame the Academy. And I think that might be where to go. Or is this the fault of Disney? I'd love to blame them. So I see you nodding your head, because it seems like this is Disney's gigantic, monumental, stupid error. And this makes me think, wait, if she wasn't there, is Ansel not invited? Is Mike Faust not invited? Is like, where does this actually end? Where does it begin? And if Ansel is going to the damn Oscars and Ziegler is not, okay, good. Okay, so help me out here, Joe. Help me out.
Here's my thought process. So first of all, the studios are the ones that hand out the tickets essentially. Like the studios get the number of tickets and blah 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 from there. So the fingers being pointed at Disney. The way that I'm thinking about this and trying to make sense of it was some sort of logic. And I'm not saying I support this logic, but I do wonder, bringing up Ansel, if it's a thing where like they just don't want to get into the back and forth of like, do we invite him, do we not? So they just didn't invite the leads of the film, or like I don't know where it ends, but yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, because it is really odd. I don't know, especially like when you're 99.5% confirmed to have one of the stars of the film winning one of the major acting awards. How would you not have the team there? I don't get it.
I think it's one of those things where, hey, you know what? You had an extra year to try to film around Ansel. You bite that bullet and you deal with Ansel
I
being
agree
there.
with them.
Like, you could have tried to get that dude out of there. Maybe you couldn't have or something. But guess what? If you're cool with releasing a movie with Ansel in it, have him go to the Oscars so Ziegler can go as well. Because like, what is it going to be? Oh, let's think about this. Do we get the Oscar moment? And maybe the Oscar stepped in on this one, but are the boss obviously invited and stuff. When she's getting up there to win. Spoiler for whenever we do the Oscar podcast. Whenever she's getting up to win, there's going to be this long piercing shot of Rita Moreno. Just like, because that's the other person that has done this role, and it's going to be a beautiful Oscar moment. Now, was she invited on her own with the Oscars at this point? Was she invited by the Disney studio because she's a part of that movie? Oh man, it just really bums me out that there's a lot of young actors, and this is what we need, is these young actors to be there and everything like that. No, we're gonna get a bunch of old fogies in there, and it's just gonna be. I can't stand this. I really can't stand that this happened, and they already. Well, I'm shitting on the Oscars again. The Oscars already have bad PR, but like you said, and I like that we got to the bottom of that with our investigative journalism. That it was the studios that do this, but still. I mean, the bad press that Disney has, like they don't know how to do anything right. Nobody does. Everyone sucks. I'm done.
I know that Deadline, when I read the article yesterday, they had reached out to the Oscars for further confirmation or further statements. And I'm
Say it.
Sorry. Speaking of Disney postpones management retreat as CEO Bob Chapek continues to account for companies' "don't say gay" bill response.
Oh my God. You know what? I get that. It's just like, I don't want to go on anything.
Oh man.
I don't want to do anything right now.
Well, hopefully Rachel Ziegler gets invited there. Or ends up. I'm sure that someone's going to take her as a +1 or something now. At least
something in that situation. Like this went public, and I think this is an agent and a PR move to be like, okay, let's get her there. Like, let's figure out what to do to get her there. I'm certain someone's going to take her there. Yeah.
Think about too, like if West Side Story was to win Best Picture. It's a long shot, I think, but like, hello.
The cast goes up there now, and she wouldn't go up there. Oh God!
Oh my God! All right, so we are going to wrap up for the week. Let's talk about new releases that are coming out. We have The Lost City hitting theaters, which I was so excited for.
Oh my God! I can't believe this is actually as good as it's going to be. Apparently, like
people are raving about it.
It's just actually nuts, and I think it's the reason people are raving about it is because I don't think it's the greatest American comedy of our generation, but it's just a good, solid comedy, and I think people love that that's occurring. Like it's just
apparently their chemistry is fantastic. And I don't know if you've seen any of the interviews with Sandra Bullock and Daniel Radcliffe, doing the circuit together. They are hilarious. It is, you would never have expected it, but that comes out. Infinite Storm hits theaters. Mothering Sunday hits theaters. Everything Everywhere All at Once hits theaters. That's the new A24 movie.
That's with Michelle Yeoh, correct?
Yes, it is.
Oh
and then Halo hits Paramount Plus on Thursday. So interesting week we got here. Of course, the following week is Morbius, so clear your calendars. Announcements. We will be rescheduling the Oscar portion of this pod for later this week. We'll let you all know on social media when we'll be doing that. We'll be conversing with Hayden of the Dive In Movie podcast or movie cast. I almost called it the Divine. It's kind of a smart play on words. Dive In, Divine.
The Divine Movie Cast.
Divine. And we'll figure that all out. But between now and then, maybe you should get your Oscar picks in the Oscar pool. You can find the link in the Guy at the Movies bio or in the notes to this episode. We once again want to apologize for all of the technical difficulties tonight. And this may be a little bit of a choppy episode, as you know, if you're listening to me right now. But we will, be back later this week with some clarity with the Oscars. Sean? It's been fun.
Have a good one, Joe.
You know what, Sean? I will. Thank you.
Thanks.
As always, thanks for listening. You can follow both Joe and Sean on Instagram at Guy at the Movies and Math Teacher Movies. New episodes of the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean are available every Wednesday morning, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, be on the lookout for special spoiler pods, where we dive deep into the latest film releases. If you like what you hear, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.